you made this?
Feeling good, got some weed up in my wood, chasing dreams just like I should, letting go because I could. Used to have
Welcome back to another episode of JK Philly. Today we got Running with the Timberwolves. How you guys doing?
We're good. We're doing good. We're doing good. Thank you so much for having us on. It's been an exciting year this year. A lot of times, a lot of seasons you'd have us on, there wouldn't be much to talk about. And I think with this team, there actually is a lot to talk about. So
For sure. Well, yeah, definitely appreciate you guys coming on. Like I stated a little bit ago, we're just going to not keep it super quick, but we'll just hit a few media points that we want to talk about. But first, I just want you guys to go over and just, give a quick background to the viewers of just your guys' experience with the channel and everything like that.
Yeah, I guess I'll start. I started the channel in 2021, I think. Basically, just after the pandemic, or just when the pandemic was kind of subsiding a little bit. I have a background kind of in radio, so I wanted to continue doing that. The Wolves were my favorite team, so I asked Chris, hey, do you want to do a podcast? And we kind of got together, started doing some very rough podcasts, very rudimentary, not much editing, stuff like that. And we've grown. We've done individual bios, or we've done essay form videos. We do a podcast every week. We actually work with the Believe Network as well. We're under contract with them. So, yeah, that's pretty much where we come from. So,
awesome. Yeah, well, that's great. That's great to hear. Let's jump into the very first question that I got. I was kind of thinking of these questions last night while I was making everything up. I'm reviewing the whole season. I'm reviewing, of course, the biggest trade that starts the season, getting rid of Cat. And getting Randall on the team. And then I kind of related to where they ended up this year when we're definitely going to talk about the playoffs and just seeing that you guys really just made it to the same exact spot as the year previous. So ask you, was the trade really worth it for Randall for the future? How did you guys feel about it initially?
Chris, go ahead. You go first.
Yeah, I mean, so what the trade was to get out of just a huge financial burden was part of it. Cat's contract is escalating at a supermax rate that we're already at the second apron, so we were completely locked in and we weren't going anywhere. I personally wasn't the largest Karl Anthony Towns play style or like as a quote unquote winner type thing. Like I know he puts up numbers, but like if I was a new GM coming in and I asked the head coach who had been coaching him, is this the type of guy that's going to lead this team to a championship? I'm guessing the coach would have said he's not. And I think that's part of the reason why they moved him. I think there was some stylistic issues where I think the Timberwolves ran into a team with Dallas that had multiple playmakers that could do it off the dribble. And that's something that we didn't have at the time. Karl Anthony Towns, as great as he is, he's like a finisher, like meaning somebody sets up the play and kicks it to him, he'll hit the shot. Like he's not the guy that's going to break down the defense type thing. So we needed a second guy to do that, and that's what Randall gave us. We probably hoped for a little more out of Dante, but if you make a trade that large 2 days before the first preseason game and you end up making it to the Western Conference Finals with almost no practice time to even set up your offense that was based off a 7-footer shooting threes, I'm pretty happy with the total outcome. Where it goes from here is going to be another question.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. I mean, it was definitely a project early with Julius Randle. He wasn't playing well. The team wasn't gel. I think we were around like 500 for a good amount of the season, really even to halfway through the season. And then Julius Randle got injured and he was out for, I don't know, a good 3 or 4 weeks. And he really learned from that. He said that he was able to look at the team and kind of get an outside perspective and kind of see the team as a whole and kind of see where he fits in. And after that injury, when he came back, he was awesome for the team. Now, obviously, he had some bad games in the Western Conference Finals. I chalk that up to a little bit just how good the Oklahoma City Thunder are, which I honestly think they're going to win the finals in like 5. I think that Indiana steals one, maybe. But, I mean, Julius Randle, the first 2 playoff series was fantastic. And obviously left a little bit to desire in the Western Conference Finals, but man, he was really good, and he was starting to get into his element. And like Chris was saying, much better contract. And this isn't to throw Cat out the door. I mean, we've been watching Cat since the Andrew Wiggins days, since the Zach LaVine days. I mean, we've been watching him all the way through, and he had a lot of upside. I mean, the best, what does he call it? The best 3-point shooting big in the entire NBA history, or whatever he calls himself, which he might
self-proclaimed.
Self-proclaimed, yeah. And he was a great shooter, and obviously Julius Randle didn't shoot as well as Karl Anthony Towns, which no one was expecting to. But I will say Julius Randle did exercise a lot of his playoff demons these playoffs, because if you look at the stats from the first couple playoff runs, it was horrible. The first 2 rounds, he was awesome. So I don't know, but at the same time, the Knicks, I know we're not talking about the Knicks too much, but I mean, they did make the Eastern Conference Finals as well. So, I mean, they got that monkey off their back as well. So I can almost kind of call it almost an even trade.
I don't know, man. Cat's tough because I hate a big man who gets targeted on defense constantly, who they question his defensive effort, and teams actively hunt him out. You can see it on film. So I didn't think it was a terrible trade for you guys. Just getting back to the Western Conference Finals, it is the Thunder. You watch that Thunder team play. I think they're the best team in the NBA by a bit this year. Their defense is suffocating. It seems like there's nowhere to dribble on the court when teams play them. But I didn't think it was a disastrous trade for you guys.
Right, and it was interesting you mentioned the Oklahoma City Thunder. Last year, right, the whole thing getting ready for the next offseason was, let's be prepared to beat the Celtics, right? That's the team we got to beat. Now it's completely different. It's now we got to get ready to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. So it's crazy how 1 year flips everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. I think the biggest thing that you said that makes the most sense, it was an even trade, because you guys basically got to the same exact spot. Not the same exact player, but the same exact spot, and you were able to provide, in different ways. So I definitely agree with that point. As we continue going on, I wanted to ask the next question, more of a media-based question that I've seen a lot. The NBA is continuing to deem somebody as the next face of the league when LeBron finally goes. A lot of the talk has been like, is Anthony Edwards going to be that? Is Jason Tatum going to be that? Because they want just some guy that is American that they want to be the face of the league, and that's really what they want. The media surrounding Ant, in terms of him being the face of the league, how strongly do you guys believe in that, or are you guys on the complete opposite side of the coin?
I guess I'll start with this one. It's tough because it feels like every time the media has a bunch of interviews with Ant, or ESPN is hyping him up, he goes out on ESPN and has a rough game. So I think for Ant to be the face of the league, he needs to avoid the games where he's putting up like 9 points and refusing to shoot. Now, there are a lot of times where in those games where he's not scoring, he is distributing, he's making the right plays. Like, for example, the Oklahoma City series, there were a lot of times where we looked at it and said, okay, he's not scoring enough, but when the double comes, he's kicking it out to open shooters. The open shooters just aren't hitting shots. And don't get me wrong, I love Ant, and there's something to remember here too. The kid is only 23 years old, and he's entering into his prime. The fun fact that I like to throw out is the rookie that everyone talked about that had moments for the Wolves in the playoffs. Anthony Edwards is younger than Terrence Shannon Jr. by about a year. So, I mean, he's a young guy. I think he's ready to be the face of the league. I think he has the personality to be it. But I think to crown him the face of the league is a little premature, particularly when we just saw Shai Gilgeous-Alexander do what he did and may do in the NBA Finals. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit on a couple good points. 23 years old, nobody's ready to be the face of anything at 23. I think the league doesn't want him to be the face yet. He's got some skeletons in his closet, like maybe a lot of 23-year-old kids might have that get given a couple $100 million. But, this is a new world right now where the face of the league, like people have been saying, you've heard superstars say this, gets so scrutinized with social media. With every move you make, you're going to get killed. With every decision you make, you're going to get killed. LeBron James was unique to be able to handle that sort of pressure and just be like a Teflon kind of perfect human being type thing. No scandals, family's good, like everything is on the up and up with him. I don't know if we're gonna see another guy that's gonna really step right into that role. I think the league is so powerful right now with talent that I
Yeah.
don't think there's like a this is the guy kind of dude.
Mhm.
Like when LeBron came in and as the second or third year, he was almost noticeably the best player in the league already. You kind of were like, well, this is the guy. Like there isn't that right now. I think it's because the talent is so deep. So I'm not really buying the league. That's just, media wanting to make a story out of nothing.
No, I agree. I like the parody too. We're moving into a era where you truly do. You win the NBA championship by having the best team. Where
Right.
it felt like sometimes it was who has the megastar, who has the dude
For
who's going
sure.
to go out there and win some of them games himself. You don't really see that anymore. I think maybe 10, 15 years ago, Ant's such a good player. I think he maybe does get the Timberwolves to the championship game playing that way. But like you said, it's so deep now. I mean, you look at that Thunder roster. There's dudes who don't get on the court who could be doing some real role-playing roles on other teams in the NBA. They're incredibly deep. And look at the team like the Pacers. The Pacers don't have Halliburton's obviously the best player, but they don't have that megastar, that LeBron, that Curry. But nobody in the East could top him. The Knicks got Brunson. He had a good series, but it just wasn't enough.
Right. And to add to that, I mean, even look at OKC. Like, obviously, they got Shea, but their number 2 guy, Jalen Williams, he's not a household name yet.
No.
I mean, basketball heads know who he is, but around the league, you ask a random person who's Jalen Williams, they probably have no idea who he is. And I thought of this while you were talking about that. I think that's why there's so much nostalgia for a team like the Pistons from like 2003, where they didn't have like a star, like they had like Tayshaun Prince and Rip Hamilton. I think that's why there's so much nostalgia for that, because there wasn't like a Shaq in a Kobe. It was almost like disrupting the status quo of needing a big star and doing it as a team. So yeah, exactly. Yep.
Make team basketball sexy again.
Sure. Yeah, definitely a lot of good points. I wasn't even really thinking about it in that perspective of just like how it's more transforming into team basketball rather than like who's that guy. So definitely an interesting concept. I do want to move into our last point that I really have. Of course, getting to the Western Conference Finals, they have a lot of backlog this playoffs of your key takeaways. You can go through every single game if you want individually and talk about those key takeaways or the best things or the worst things that you saw. I'm kind of curious just from you guys to see like what were your main things that you saw that they could really work on or stuff that they really excelled in from the playoffs.
Well, I would I'll take this first, Chris, you don't mind.
Yeah.
My main takeaway was, like I was mentioning, how good the first 2 rounds Julius Randle was. Because we started seeing that in the second half of this season, and then we saw it in the playoffs as well. That was the main concern. And then just some of the hurdles that they jumped, right? Like the Lakers can say all they want. Oh, Luka was under the weather, LeBron was dealing with this, Austin Reeves was dealing with this. But at the end of the day, you beat LeBron and Luka, the guy that knocked you out of the playoffs last year. You beat them in 5 games, and you were the underdog. That was huge for me. No matter what people want to talk about the Golden State series with Steph going out, it's not like there's never been an injury in the NBA playoffs. It happens. And the other factor that worries me going into free agency here is they were great all season, don't get me wrong, but some of the play of the bench, which was supposed to be our strong point, the Dante DiVincenzo's, the Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who were great in stretches, just weren't there consistently. I mean, we won some games. Like, I think I remember one of the Laker games we won shooting like all-time bad from 3 point. I think it was like 7 for 49.
Yeah.
And somehow we won that game. So, I mean, that'll fly against some teams that won't fly, as we saw against the Oklahoma City Thunder. But I mean, we're going into some contract years here. We got Nickeil, who we need to re-sign potentially. We got to make a decision on him. We got Naz Reid with a player option. All all indications are he's going to opt out of that and look for a bigger deal, which obviously I can't blame him. He's worked his way from being an undrafted free agent. He's been awesome with us. We couldn't ask for more. The only thing I guess we could ask for is a little more consistency in the playoffs. I mean, he averaged something like 9 points per game, which isn't up to Nas standards, particularly in the playoffs. So, yeah, and then, of course, DiVincenzo, I mean, shot somewhere like 30% from three in the playoffs. So just the non-contributions from our bench, and that's what we needed to do against Oklahoma City. They were saying it before, was hit open corner threes. That's what we needed to do to have a chance against Oklahoma City. And that one game 3, we did it, and the other games we didn't, and I think that was the difference in that series. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, my main take was, come Western Conference Finals time, we looked like a team that was trying to figure it out still, was trying to find a way to make this roster work. With Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle, you would think that there would be some really dynamic two-man game. There just isn't. It's kind of his turn type thing. Which was kind of what the Heat looked like when, I'm not saying we're the Heat, but when LeBron and Wade were down there in the beginning, their first year, they were pretty terrible together. They almost had to only be on and off the court. That's when they were best. So it looked like our team was still trying to figure it out. We've got some guys that are really good on one thing and really bad at the other. So you try to hide them certain ways, with Gobert or with Jaden McDaniels or with guys that, just aren't great in certain situations. And then you've got Oklahoma City, and they just played like a team. Everybody moved like they were supposed to. They cut when they were supposed to. The second pass was always there. When the league lets them use their hands the way they do on defense, there's not much you're going to be able to do, especially when your two best guys attack the paint on the dribble. Julius wants to attack the paint on the dribble. As a power forward, that's asking a lot of anybody, but he's effective at it, but not when there's three guys crashing down and ripping at the ball, and that's what OKC does. So it's a matchup sport. Playoffs is a matchup sport. I don't think that we matched up great, our strengths versus their strengths. And that's what happens in the playoffs. You could be a better team. We weren't, but you could be a better team and still lose just because the matchups is bad. And we had a bad matchup, but they were also a better team.
Yeah, and I agree with what you said in the playoffs. I think some of it was the Thunder's, just how good they are defensively, but it did the Timberwolves at times during that series looked like a team that didn't have answers. Yep. And again with Randle, one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of Randle is you are a power forward ISO scorer. I don't even know I don't even know what that is. He doesn't really want to put his back to the rim and back guys down. He wants to take threes. And it almost looks like he's playing at the park sometime and somebody goes, "Hey, yo, do him." And he's just trying to dribble and then, get to the rim.
I agree with that.
And it works sometimes when he's scoring 35 points a game, you're like, this is amazing. But it at times looked like the Thunder were just okay, we're going to take Ant away. He's going to pass the ball to Randle. Randle's going to chuck up this three, or he's going to give it to the third option, and we don't care what the third option does. We'll let him shoot all day, whoever that turns out to be.
And that's what I think it was we don't care who the third option is. Let those guys do what they want, and they suck. They failed. So that was the problem.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the same point. I just think that the role players that really needed to show up just didn't show up, and you could kind of see it. I feel like it was just very simple of if you're an NBA junkie or a basketball junkie and you watch the series, you can understand that their game plan is we're stopping him and you guys have to beat us. And they definitely had a possibility to, because they had a lot of looks and a lot of great looks from the whole team, and they had good ball movement, but just didn't fall for them.
But you were mentioning the coaching. We almost got 3 different styles of coaching throughout the playoff run. We had the Lakers, who refused to play big, whatever. They refused to play Jackson Hayes or any of their big guys. So we had that, and that was their big mistake. The Warriors couldn't get over not having Curry, so they couldn't adjust to that, and they were just throwing guys out left and right to try to figure it out, see if someone had a spark. So they couldn't figure that out. And then credit to Mark Daigneault, he had a plan for the Wolves, even coming off. Remember, they went to I don't know how Denver took them to 7, to be completely honest with you, but
Jokic is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. But to his credit, Daigneault from night 1, because there was only a 1-day gap in between games, he had a defense ready for the Wolves, and they executed his game plan flawlessly, with the exception of Game 3, which just got away from them a little bit. So, yeah, we saw an interesting coaching carousel almost a little bit throughout the playoffs.
For sure. I definitely appreciate your guys' time. If you guys have anything that you guys are, doing upcoming soon, would love to hear what you guys got going on.
Yeah, so we do a weekly podcast on the YouTube channel, also on Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music as well. You can basically find us anywhere, Running with the Timberwolves. Off season is a little slower. We try to have a little more fun. We'll do, I think we got coming up, I'm going to do a video probably comparing the 2 years of Karl Anthony Towns and Julius Randle, kind of talk about the trade. And then, of course, free agency coming up, trade. I mean, could we be talking about Kevin Durant in a little bit, or Giannis? I know it's crazy to say, but it's definitely possible with Tim Connolly as the guy pulling the strings. So yeah, just keep it tuned to Running with the Timberwolves on YouTube, also Spotify, Amazon, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts as well. And I just want to thank you guys for having us on as well. It's been great talking with you guys. So
yeah, man, it was a good time.
Yeah,
yeah.
Sure. Definitely appreciate your guys' time. Make sure you guys stay in tune for the next episode that we will try to release. Check out all the links down below, and we'll talk to you guys on the next episode. Thank you guys for watching another episode of JK Philly. Make sure you stay tuned by subscribing to the channel.